Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit of regular beer up in this piece, in the form of regular beer. Duclaw, their regular beer. This is what they call their American craft lager, coming in just below 5% alcohol by volume. I haven't done Duclaw beer in quite some time, and I'm a fan of Duclaw and what they do. I don't pick up a bunch of their stuff just because it's like the same thing over and over. They rarely come out with anything new, and some of my more favorite stuff of theirs is a little obscure. But I saw this, and honestly, when anybody throws out beer flavored beer in a very generic way like this, it kind of tickles me pink. So that's why we're reviewing it. It says a beer that tastes like beer. Duclaw Brewing Company, 4.9% alcohol by volume. This was canned on the 286th day of 2023, or packaged on, I should say. So whatever the 286th day is, that's probably, I'm guessing somewhere in September, October-ish, which should be fine for regular beer. Let's dive into it, see what's what. Oh boy, oh boy. We are in the throes of December. Today's my brother's birthday. It's December 9th. 2 weeks away from the big X. And I am absolutely looking forward to it because I have a kid and that makes everything awesome. Anyway, so yeah, label-wise, I dig it. Beer-wise, I mean, it looks the part of just like lager. Here's the thing though. They say American craft lager. I can see that because it comes off a bit darker, a bit maltier, and there's a subtle unfilteredness to it. It's probably very hard to pick up on camera, but it's not purely clear. That kind of makes sense when it comes to the non-centrifuge, dropped out, all kinds of crazy non-macro lager. White as white could be had. Looks the part. Let's see what the nose has to offer. There's a little bit of flabbiness here. There's a little bit of malty flabbiness. So it's malt forward. When I say flabbiness, it's not necessarily getting to a really heavy dimethyl sulfide, but it's kind of got a touch of that. So when I say flabby, it's just a very light cream corniness to it. Outside of that, something beefier malt, kind of Marzen kind of level maltiness, maybe getting a little bit Vienna-ish, somewhere along those lines. So it's north of what you typically expect from like macro lager. And there's really not much there as far as like any kind of hop expression, at least as far as I can tell. It really is just a malt forward beer with that slightest, and I'm not going to poop on a slight bit of dimethyl sulfide. I can rip me some Rolling Rocks. It's not a big deal. But it's just something that's there. Since there is so little to the beer, kind of worth bringing up. So, yeah, let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. I like it, actually, because, and this is the weird part, and I alluded to this by saying, I can rip some Rolling Rocks. Rolling Rock specifically makes their beer have a touch of DMS in it. It's kind of a trait that they've leaned into. They actually do it on purpose. So it's a flavor profile. I mean, this heavy DMS is not necessarily a good thing, but it's something that I can kind of get down with because Rolling Rocks, give me a bucket of ice cold Rolling Rocks. I'm not going to complain on it. This is almost like a maltier version of Rolling Rock. I mean that in a very positive way. I'm not trying to poop on it and make fun of it. It just has this kind of, it has a nice maltiness to it, a bit beefier with a touch of DMS, just nothing too big, so it kind of plucks at my old school heartstrings, bringing back those Rolling Rock memories. And then it has this kind of nice little staunch little bitterness. It's nothing hyper aggressive. It's something above what you typically get in a macro lager, so it's definitely in that kind of craft realm. So it's almost like they try to make their own kind of like maltier, maybe even Oktoberfest Märzen kind of beer. I keep leaning towards Märzen on this beer. And the way the malts kind of come off. And you know what it is? It is beer flavored beer. It is. It's beer flavored beer, so it's definitely regular beer. It's something north of what you'd typically get from a macro lager because it has that bit of beefy maltiness to it and a little bit more of a snappy hoppiness. There's really nothing, and I say it with a little asterisk, nothing negative here. That DMS would be classified as something negative, but I'm not going to sit here and get all kind of hot and bothered over it. I can kind of view it almost as an acceptable piece of the beer and just say I think it's tasty. Honestly, you're talking about $9.99 for a sixer. Sure. Am I picking this up over High Life Cream Ale from Jenny? Probably not. But, you know, as a craft twist on a regular beer, or I'd call it beer flavored beer, it's not a bad beer. You know, if you dig on Oktoberfest, but you want something with a little bit more kind of American lager kind of vibes. It's almost like a split between those two. If you were to mix like an Oktoberfest Märzen with a little bit of American lager, kind of mix those both together, that's kind of what you're getting here, and I don't view that as a negative. I can get down with it. I'm glad I have 6 of them. I will rip them all. Let's put it that way. Done and done. There's not much else to talk about the beer. So yeah, so one of the better American craft lagers had, I was like, sure, fine. We'll put it in a conversation. Not towards the top. It's beer. It's beer-flavored beer. Nothing wrong with that. Value and availability, $9.99 6er off the shelf, and leave you with if you like what we just. If you like beer-flavored beer, something a bit north of what you typically get from American craft adjunct, or not craft, macro lager, you'll dig this. Duclaw, have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? What's your favorite beer from Duclaw? I've got to think about mine. Might be one of the barley wine series, but I'd have to think about it. If you have one, put it down there. Been to the brewery, had their beers, had this beer, all that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you all enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of a beer flavored beer right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.